Yeah, I had made some commitments, and I'm not the kind of guy who goes back on his word. So I want the kind of guy who wants to, see it through. So whatever sounded like, because I cannot put a word to it.
Yeah.
Whatever is wrong, I'm like, then maybe I can pray about it, or these are some of the things that time, sorts out. But even the more I got closer to every single thing that I'm planning towards, the more the frustration, the more and I don't want to show it. I don't even know how to talk about it. So I would laugh. I'll put up faces, but deep within, there's so much confusion, so much happening in my mind, Yani.
Yeah.
And I'm the kind of guy who, once the wheel starts moving, we are going. We don't know to keep at a bump, and then we continue.
So fasting time and the prayer that you made.
Yeah. So a season came around January, and we're getting closer to the things that we were planning, and I'm like, hey God, this thing is getting more frustrating on me. Remember, we were fasting as a church, fasting for 21 days. So remember, I fasted for 3 days, and I told God I will not stop until I have a solution. I will not stop until I have an answer, because this is the future we are talking about.
Yeah.
So I started praying, and the prayer was, God, if this thing is ordained by you, if this direction I'm going is truly yours, give me peace. Give me peace to continue. But if it's not from you, Lord, if something is off and I'm not supposed to go towards that direction, or even marriage is not our portion, help me get there by denying me peace. Wacha inisumbue mpaka nione enyewe hii kitu hafai kwenda hivyo. So I remember I prayed, and then my girlfriend at the time didn't know all this is happening in my life, because I wanted. So this was my wisdom at the time. Pray about it, sharp at a solution. That's when, if the answer is a yes, continue. You don't even have to tell her that you've been going through this phase of prayer and confirming and all that. So I went through it, the prayer time and all that, and fasting, in one of the hardest seasons of my life, Yani. Because on this other side, I'm praying, on this other side, I have to continue with the relationship, Yani. And it's hard. And in that same season, guess who decided to be coming to our church, Yani? Guess who decided? Of all churches in Kenya,
No, at this point I'm praying about a church. I'm praying to go to church. Like, which church God do I go to? Because I wanted to really grow spiritually and serve. And then I also didn't want a church where I'd have to move out after I get married. I wanted a church where our family will grow, my husband would come, all that stuff. So then the word was City Lighters. So then I attended church, and I was like, okay, let's go see. So then I'm there. So it wasn't that inaenda kuchase msee sijui nini. Mimi hata sikuwa nataka hizo story. So
but you went to that church.
I knew. Actually, no, I knew that he hosted cell group. I didn't know if he went to that church. I knew, because I was like, what kind of people are this hosting cell group? So that was like another story. But yeah, so I knew that they hosted cell group. I really didn't give it a second thought if he came to City Lighters or not. Yeah.
So she decides to come to church. So the first time I saw her in church, I was like, of all churches, why come to this church? But the good thing is, at that time, unajua memory sha. Remember we decided way back to forget about that experience and that day we met and all that. So haiko strong vile ilikuwa, haiko, so it's just okay, sawa. Alright, welcome, nikamwambia karibu kanisa.
Really?
I told you welcome to Lighters.
You did.
Na nikajaribu kuhook up.
Akaanza kuni hook up na watu. Aniliuliza ati kama if I have sijui, I've seen someone.
So I was trying even to hook up.
And me, I'm not having that story. I'm just like, we are at marketplace, tumekam kujianika. I'm like, no.
Ni stock mpya imekamcha.
Kama ni muona mtu. By the way, alikuwa anashinda kinuza every Sunday, umeona mtu. I'm like, I'm not looking.
Wait, you had already, at this point, you had already found out the ruracio.
Yeah. Kwa hiyo kumbuka ile meeting alikuwa anapitishiwa picha, aliambiwa hai ruracio gani? My friends are so loyal. Yeah. So, proceed.
So nikajaribu kumhook up and get her off the market.
So ulikuwa unasema ati huko na nini au ku feel connection tukiongea the second time. So the first time was just hype.
The first time kulikuwa na hiyo banter. The second time kulikuwa na kini kwa mbali sana. Remember nimerudi kwa focus. I'm focused.
Na uko na stress anyway.
Niko na stress.
Alafu mimi nikamwambia congratulations on your wedding. I'll pray for you. Yeah. So then
why did you do that?
Because I didn't want to be your side chick. I wanted you to know that I know you have someone. And if I was ever going to be your friend, because I really liked you in a friendly way, I wanted her to be our friend. Like, as in, I was not going to be your friend if she was not cool. Because I know, like, you always know the person that you'll hit it off with. And I knew for him, like, if I ever got his number, I knew we would, like, be constantly here the whole day. So I was like, hey, Z. Yeah. So he didn't want my number for his own reasons. I didn't want his number for, like, I knew we would connect on another level.
Yeah. So after, I think it was, like, during that season of prayer.
Was the last week?
Yeah.
Last week of January.
Yeah. I finally got an answer, and it didn't sound like good news.
Okay. It wasn't good news.
It wasn't good news. The direction that I'm being convicted to go towards, and the direction was ending the relationship. Hey, guy.
And not for the sake of me.
No,
siko kwa hiyo story.
Hako kwa nini kwa hata simfikiri at all well, I had the mountains I had hata your time ulikuwa my sister. I remember when the direction was to end the relationship, and until today I still stammer about that story, Annie, because that was one of the hardest seasons of my life, and one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make, to hurt someone who didn't deserve it,
and didn't do anything wrong. And it was so hard even to have that conversation. Yeah. Because
imagine transitioning from planning,
a wedding,
or the, hatukuwa tumefanya ruracio, or we were in the early stages of, families coming together to plan the same. But still.
And girls go ahead. Like, girls are really, like, by the time we're doing this, ushafikiria. Yeah. So then that will come crashing down.
Yeah. So imagine all that. And, remember what I had said, I'm a man of my word. Yeah. So she knew I'm a man of my word. If I say we are going forward, we are going forward. And then I'm the same guy who's coming to go against everything that I had said. Even when we had that sit down, I looked bold, but my knees were shaking, as in everything inside me was shaking, because even when we sat down, she came so happy, and for a second, I almost changed my mind, because I'm like, I'm not about to destroy this one. I'm not about to change this girl's world, just like that. But remember, I had prayed, and that was the direction I was being convicted to do it. So remember, it was so hard. Nimefanya mitihani mob lakini hiyo. Yeah. And we talked. I tried to explain why I was ending it. At the moment, it sounded like gibberish.
You're being
from 100 to 0 real quick. You're being unreasonable. I think I can say one of the worst thing I think I ever did in that season was getting into a season of prayer about something of uncertainty without even telling her that I'm in this space. I'm in a space of doubt, and I'm praying about it. Maybe that could have helped her prepare for any outcome, or slow down on planning things, or involving family and all that. Or even another mistake probably I did was go too much ahead without consulting God. I'm making steps, I'm moving, and I'm not asking God, is this the next step, or are we sure we should be here? Like I thought I started with God, then I started consulting him and involving him nikiwa halftime. Nianza kuminvolve halftime. Towards now the final minutes of the game, that's when I'm involving him, and someone was hurt real bad because of kupuuza ama me using my wisdom and knowledge to do things. It was so hard. It was so much. There was tears, and it was a hard night, yani. I remember even after dropping her off at her home, and I came back home so broken. It would sound like I don't deserve being broken because I've just broken someone, but it broke me because I broke someone. That was where my pain was coming from. Yani, what level have I come to? I'm at the age whereby I should be done with games and such things. Yani, but it seems like ndio naanza. I've never had such in my life before. I got home so broken. Talked with a couple of my boys, and I think I went on silent, shut down my phone. Tried to sleep. I couldn't get sleep that night. Remember, I prayed, and I prayed what I would call a dangerous prayer. And I told God, Yani, hey, I'm done with this thing called love. It has come with so much pain. I've afflicted pain. And I thought this was heading to marriage, but it's not. And I feel guilty in so many ways, and I'm at fault in so many things. And I told God, I'm done. I'm done with this thing called love. And if at all you ever see I'm deserving of it again, let me not be the only person who sees it. Let it come from even strangers. Let it come from other people who can affirm that this is it. Because by myself, but I would trust a different source. Because my friends will help me up. My friends will be like, hey bro, hey, this is it. Just because they see me giggling or see me smiling, but they don't know what's going on the inside. But as a stranger who has nothing to gain from me having a happy and healthy relationship or marriage, once they affirm that, it sounds more concrete. And I'm like, I want another opinion next time that's not biased. And I think I slept for like an hour or two. The next day, we were supposed to have prayers. for church leaders, and I didn't want to go. So one of my boys called me like, "Hey, Tony Maombi." I'm like, I'm not at the space to pray because of what happened yesterday. So he came to pick me up in the house. I'm ready to end. Fika pale, wewe go mama nini. Be present. Wewe kwa tu hapo si lazima uo. So ngombe. Nasema sawa. Cleaned up nini, was low. She's laughing because she knows what happened after that. I got there at the prayer center. Guess who I find? You're not even a leader.
You just joined the church.
All of a sudden, Ulikam Church Jews.
Prayer center is open to everyone. Babe.
Then all of a sudden,
Me hata sieni mimi na tu, oh, prayer center, it's cool, tuende prayer center.
So I see her there, but I'm in a messed up state. So I just saw her, and I continue with my own business because there's so much going on in my mind. I cannot even have room or space to even think about someone else.
And me at the prayer center, I'm like, God, staki boy drama. I'm over boy drama. Staki sijui who, sijui what. No. I'm focused on purpose. Staki story a boy. So that's where I was at. And I was by there. It wasn't even to say for the sake of saying. It was genuinely, I'm pursuing purpose. And I'm content being single. So yeah, and then this one in the evening changes my world.
So during the prayer center, I have a coping mechanism for when I'm sad. So
remember, he's a comedian.
So I cope through making people laugh so that they may not see through my sadness. So
then he overdid it.
So anytime unajaribu kuniangalia nini naendelea na kuchapa na bomu na kurushia kitu kabla recover.
Ushajini.
So I'm there sad and no one is noticing. Because I overdid it. Every single thing nilikuwa na respond na humor. But it was a coping mechanism. So because I don't like being asked, nini mbaya, are you okay? Nini, how can I help? Especially in things that I know you don't have a solution for what I'm going through.
Yeah.
I know it's you want to show care,
but I have to go through it.
But I have to go through it, and I'm not in the space to share even what I'm going through.
Yeah.
So we had a prayer request by the end of the prayer meeting.
Yeah.
And I said what I desired
was joy. I'll never forget, because for me I was like, this is a comedian who makes people laugh and doesn't have joy. As in, is he phony? Is he a fake? Because we have had those stories, and I was like, no, mad red flag. But it made me so concerned, because I'm like, then you hear such stories, and then you hear somebody committed suicide, and you're like, but you made us laugh so hard. What's wrong? So then I was really genuinely concerned. Then I asked him what is wrong. So that's now, he didn't want to tell me.
Yeah.
So, but I think you told me, so when we were going to break fast after?
No, dinner.
Yeah,
breakfast.
But we were breaking fast.
Breaking fast.
Where do you think the word breakfast came from?
Where did it come from?
From breaking the fast.
When people break fast in the morning?
It was when people, I don't know the whole thing, but that's where the word came from.
Sleep from like 6 to like 7 in the morning, you're fasted that whole period. So you
break fast
by having breakfast.
By eating food.
By eating food.
You know what the hell?
When you found out.
Well,
now
I got it. Yeah. So we went to break first. And then I was asking him what's wrong, and then he was like being weird and suspicious. And then now he told me what happened. So he told me that he ended the relationship yesterday, and it wasn't okay. I mean, you could see it. But then I feel, I think for me in that moment, something that seemed impossible now became possible. And we had talked a couple of times, and I really liked him, but not in a, I didn't let myself like him too much, because I'm like, he has someone. So already kuna boundaries like Z, and I'm not about that life. And I'm like, already I've had Sarah Jakes, and Sarah Jakes said your husband is not engaged to somebody else. So I was like, yeah, so stop it. Because even my pal asking me, you don't feel like you guys have a connection? I'm like, stop. He's already like, this is a given. He's getting married. So then this guy comes and says he's no longer getting married. I'm like, whoa. I felt like everything just shifted. So then that made me really nervous and very scared, because I knew what I felt for him, and I knew we had some sort of connection, whether he likes to admit it or not. I knew. So that made me more really inquire on God, like, as in, God, please, aki sitaki ku mess up, na sitaki relationship kama wewe utaki na mi, as in, what? Yeah. So it made me really stay close to God and just consult. So, hey, what happened to you in that dinner?
So I'm seated on the far
Ulikuwa umekaa kwa high table.
kwa high table. Kwa kona
Ni
mahali.
rectangular, so amekaa hapo nini akiface kila mtu.
Nakaa I'm dressing the whole team.
Yes.
Like it should be. So I'm there, and I noticed this. There's a lady who was part of the delegation.
Hey, babe, part of the group, in the group.
Write them down. From the group of the people we were having prayers with, and she could not keep her eyes, off me. Not in a.
She was staring. Let me say she was staring, because if you say keep her eyes off you, it just sounds like she's into you, and she wasn't. It wasn't about that.
Many people think like that.
Yeah. It's the way you say stuff. She was just staring, and she couldn't stop staring. I didn't notice, because I've heard this story a couple of times.
So staring is not like a synonym for keeping your eyes off, not keeping your eyes off someone.
No.
Staring, not keeping your eyes off.
Honey.
Okay. Nimeito.
Let me wheel you back in.
Okay. So she was staring, according to Oxford here, and it was so much that I got curious to know what's happening. So I moved to where she was, and I was like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, you've been looking at me for a hot minute." And then she asked me, "How are you? I'm like, I'm okay. How are you? When someone asks twice, they want to get deeper. I told her what had happened the previous night, and that I'm single, and I had to end the relationship. I didn't tell her why I ended it, but I told her that I ended the relationship. So she kept quiet for a few seconds, and I was like, there's something that happened when we were at the prayer center. And when I was in prayer, God brought something to my attention, and I cannot quote say if she saw a vision or it was or she was told by word.
She saw face.
Yes.
So it was probably like a vision.
Like a vision. But she told me she saw, my wedding. She saw the woman I was getting married to. And even before she finished, I was like, hey.
Remember, now this is someone who's not emotionally invested in him.
Yeah.
So she didn't even know.
This someone who we talk once in a while, but we're not that intimate, or we don't.
Tight. You're not tight. You're not. Let's use the word tight.
Hey, imagine in a mess.
Intimate. Intimate, babe. You're not tight. Yeah.
She cannot keep my eyes.
You and I are intimate.
And then we are intimate.
Inakaa tu iko off. Na unamchomea na ujue sasa karibu get married.
Now I see.
Okay.
So we're not that tight, and there was no investment in my life. Like, she would not benefit in any way by telling me such information. And then she proceeded to tell me who, like,
the vision,
the person in the vision. and she told me the bride was not my ex. She told me
Did you know your ex?
yes.
We were all in the same church. Okay, they were all in the same church, then me, I joined. So now all of us.
Yeah. And she told me the person who I saw is here, and in this room,
In the restaurant.
So another moment, breathtaking moment is happening here, because she was not the only lady there. There are others who are there. Others are married and all that. So at the moment, so much is going through my mind.
Actually, only one was married. To think about it.
But others are like my sisters, as in it's.
Hata uangalii hivyo.
So until she says that the person she saw was Esther.
And she had never met me. I'd never met her.
That was
That was the very first time. Remember, I'm not a part of this church and I don't know the leaders. So me and my invited to cell group. I mean, like the prayer center, and it's for come to Ombe with my friend, and I came, and then that's when I met everybody. And then now she's like pointing at me. So me, I don't know all this stuff is happening. Me, I'm just being me. I'm ordering food. We're ready to eat.
So this information is supposed to excite me.
Yeah.
You know that there's
Hope.
there's hope, there's an information that I've received that's supposed to put a smile on my face. But the thoughts that are going on in my head is I'm coming from a background whereby I don't believe in such things. That someone can tell you who you will marry.
Yeah.
You're so funny because you literally prayed that prayer the night before. So now here he is rejecting the same prayer answer.
It's an oxymoron.
Hey.
Somebody.
Somebody.
Whee! Boy.
Oxymoron.
This video is sponsored by Oxford.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait for my friends to see this so that we can just tag you all your life. Oxymoron.
So, so it's very weird. The prayer I prayed last night,
It's
that's
being answered almost like
the
that.
next day,
Yeah.
less than 24 hours later,
Yeah.
God is giving me an answer and using someone the same way how specific I was. As in, God became that petty with me. And remember, we don't know each other that well.
Yeah.
We just
We've
we just met a
times.
couple of times and conversation.
And even the times we have sat is amongst friends. So
even me being told that is not a guarantee, because there is nothing. There is no relationship. There is nothing.
but there is a connection.
But there is a connection.
Why are you refusing them this
there is a
connection
connection.
part,
There's a
babe?
connection.
You know, people need to know that. Like, how will you know she's the one?
Bluetooth
There is a
device
connection.
is connected.
Unsuccessfully.
We were ready to pair.
Okay, one was buffering, but yeah.
So she tells me that information about what she saw. She told me, one, don't tell her, don't tell anybody, pray about it. That's how these things work. Pray about it. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, very few instances in the Bible have I heard God choosing someone or God telling someone marry this one and all that. So I'm like, I'm very confused because this is information I cannot back up and say that God has done this with a fellow man. So it's a system that works. But also deep inside, there's a sign of that yesterday, what I did yesterday was not
In vain.
in vain.
Kutakuwa na harusi.
Not even in terms of
It's a joke.
see mambo hata ya harusi, but that I was not crazy doing what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
That what I had God lead me to do was what was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
And it gave me some level of peace, but also
You're still hurting.
I'm still hurting, and there's someone hurting. So remember, I'm in church, I'm in leadership, I'm serving, there's so much happening. So there's so much brooming, there's so much that's about to happen. So despite what I've had, despite the good news, despite what the sign of relief, there is something coming. And I had told God to help me prepare for it. And also I cannot tell her
what's about to happen.
or what I've been told.
Yeah.
Because wenzi nakwambia msee ati niwenda wana hata hamdate as in ndio mnajaribu kujuana.
Well, honey, if I could just like be honest, the next day was Sunday. You told me.
Sana nilikwambia nini?
Uliniambia you don't see me as a girlfriend, you see me as a wife.
It's because of the information. One, the information I had. Kuna information you receive yenye haujui. And also because I could see the potential of the friendship we had can easily blow up to be something.
You always know a person that you click with, and that was that kind of connection. So yeah. So by the time he's telling me he's like seeing a wife and all, I was like, hey, my guy, you have to go through the father, because I'm not about to get into this without like him. He has to tell me, not you. He has to be the one to tell me, so you have to go through him. Because I was also, again, I'm like, I know I feel this way, I like him, but I'm like, I've gone through too much to settle for something that's not of God.
And this is so much drama ikaanza. Information, bad news will travel very fast.
Pretty fast. And then now I'm the new chick in church. So okay, people think I came to destroy a relationship.
But then they didn't know because
but it traveled quickly, because also not that we were weird, like we were just friends, and it was very evident to somebody who would see from the outside that these guys have connected in a certain way. And so then so nonatuni kama ili within a short time, because then it was in February, like when February was starting, that's when he did all this stuff and everybody's like on his case.
So it affected my life in a huge way. God has given me a way forward. I cannot act on it because I'm dealing, I'm healing.
He can't just jump on it. I really respected that about him. That even though he received a word, first of all, he gave me the time to receive it for myself in my own way. And then even because I've received it does not mean we go straight into dating. It was friendship, and we really spent time together and get to know each other. And then there was the period of like I know this is where we are going, but let's not act as though we are dating. We are not. So we really genuinely, intentionally put up boundaries to not behave like a couple, and we are not. And what I loved is that he took the time to really listen to God and know it's not yet time to date. And when it was time to date, he had prayed about it for some time. And then he got the conviction that yes, it's time to date. And then he didn't just ask me, he told our pastor that sorry, I've gone to his story because nothing katuna nini. Yeah.
Did the confirmation come to you? Like, did you receive confirmation, like, personally?
Yes, a couple first. But the one that was really big, and this happened on my wedding day, was I dreamt about my wedding. And in my wedding, the church ceremony, there was a church ceremony happening, and then this is all in the dream. And so now we are late, we have to wait for that service to end so that us guys get married. So in this dream, I don't know who the groom is. I can't see them. But I see my grandpa and I see my niece. And my bridesmaids, I see them, but not their faces. There were a couple of them. So then my wedding dress was not, ilikuwa na layers mob stiffnet. I don't know if guys will get this. But yeah, ilikuwa neti mob, but ilikuwa see-through. So I needed, and even my bridesmaids were the same way. So I was like, a wedding dress that iko na stiffnet, but I mean the neti stuff and the chiffon, whatever, you can still see through. So I needed tights. So who did I call? I called this guy. And when I called him, and remember, actually, I dreamt this the second week after me coming to church, which means this is the third time we're meeting. So that week I dreamt this dream. And so I call him and I am like, yo, I need tights and 10 pairs of tights, size, nampatia sizes. Then, so nikimwongelesha kwa simu, it's like I can see him. You know the way you talk to someone and they tell you I'm watching TV and you can kind of picture them in their house watching TV. So that was the same thing. So when I'm with him on phone, I'm picturing how he's near a bata and what he's wearing. So he's wearing like a wedding guest, like, you know, those bougie wedding guests who like wear a suit and they look really dope. So then I see the coat that he's wearing, and the print is very very, I don't know what to use, but it's very evident. Like, I can see it. I can see the print as night and day. And so I just tell him nipatie tights. And then I feel in the dream like he doesn't feel bothered. I can rely on him. I feel very comfortable to ask him for something this intimate or this personal. Yeah. So yeah, and then honestly that ends up being the dream. But I wake up with such an exciting feeling, a good feeling. I don't know how to describe it in words, honestly, but it was a feeling like he has me, he got me, and it's not inconveniencing to him. So this to now fast forward our wedding season, and he refuses to tell me what he's wearing. So I snoop through his phone, and then I see the fabric he's chosen is literally the same as the one I saw in the dream. I was like, God, what? You really can't. But then I was so mind blown. I was like, honey, God, you are showing me as night and day that this is the man you have for me. But also, I am appreciative that he didn't tell me instantly that this is your man. Because if he did, I would have made stuff happen my own way. Let's just be honest. I would have fasted forward this whole thing.
Ungenulia yo material tengeneze koti
Haraka cause najua inakaaje. Yeah, so that's one. And then the second one was again, there was many of them, but then the other one that stood out for me was the war room. So in 2019 I'd prayed for a husband who would want a war room, and a war room is a prayer room in our house. And I really wanted one because in singlehood I'd enjoyed just being in my own space and praying and spending time with God. And I'd seen my friends who are married struggle with QT. QT is quiet time. And I was like, I don't want that. My relationship to God, with God, is very personal. It means so much to me. And so I started praying that God give me a husband who, first of all, also wants a prayer room, who also would have that personal relationship with you. And so in our second hangout, I wouldn't really call that a date, because okay, maybe it was a date because we intentionally planned to meet. So in our second date, we start talking about our spiritual lives and our growth and nini, and then he brings up how he brings up how he wants a war room and how he wants it to be soundproof. I'd never told anybody this heart's desire. Then this guy comes, but then in that instant, I knew for sure. Because not many people want prayer room. Not many people think like that. People want office spaces, like a second room that will serve as an office or a game room. Yeah. So, but I'm like, a war room.
Well, we'll still have all of those.
For sure. But for me, a war room really stood out for me. And not just a war room. He saw how it could be soundproof, and I'm like, he's adding on to my idea. So yeah, I had a couple of them, but those for me were really mind-blowing.
Wow. Hey, you guys.
Tumepitia mambo.
Quick break.
Okay.
Refresh for a minute, then we come back and
Okay.
continue.